Welcome back to Zeitgeist. Right now we have a special guest, one of our many special guests. I'd like to say hello to Logan C Thomas, photographer extraordinaire. Thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
How are things with you? How are you going?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Things have been pretty exciting over the last month or so, and I actually sat down at my computer today and I was like, oh, I've got a lot of exciting projects coming up.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to the next 2 or 3 months. It's gonna be wild.
One of those you were saying was the Miss Universe pageant.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Could you tell us about that?
Well, so the Miss Universe Barbados pageant. Okay, so Brian Green, he's the franchise holder. He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
He's been very good to me. He reached out to me last year, May, and asked me if I wanted to come on as their photography sponsor for this last year. And I mean, who says no to that, right? Yeah. So I signed on. It was a little difficult at the time because at the time I was actually on crutches. So
Okay, that's not funny because that sounds serious.
It's serious, but I mean, come on, if you can't laugh at serious things,
Okay.
you know, like.
Well, your legs are working now, so that's fine.
Yeah. But so I signed up with the crutches and everything, and I was like, yeah, Brian, I'm down. And we started in, I would say, September. We shot, and we actually did. It was quite intense, the amount of shooting we did. Yeah. And it continues even up to Saturday.
So you're a very booked man, very busy. You have like the people have you on call to work for Miss Universe Barbados. Mm-hmm. So how did you get to this point? What was the point that you decided you wanted to be a photographer?
That's a good question. I've not been asked that one before. I've
Never?
I've been asked how I started, which is very different.
I feel the premium interviewer right here.
Yeah, there you go, man. But like really, because I feel like when you decide to do something that's creative and that's hard, you decide it multiple times. Mm-hmm. You know, you almost have to decide it every time you go out and do it. But I decided that I wanted to do photography when I was about 13 or 14. Mm-hmm. And then I had to decide again when I went to BCC. I was actually studying computer studies over there, and I was like, I don't want to be doing this. Yeah. I dropped out sneakily and applied to the university that I went to called SCAD. I went off and I traveled for a long time, and I came back to Barbados. And it was when I came back to Barbados about 4 years ago that I decided again that I was going to commit myself to photography again. Right. But so it took a few illusions, you know, it didn't happen all at once.
Because starting from 13, like that's something you would have had to be really, really sure about. Yeah. And from 13 years old, you said you did your first, started making money working out in photography at 14 years old.
From the time I was young, like a teenager, from the time I was young, elders are going to be looking at me like, oh child.
You're not that old yet.
I was interested, and it was exciting to me, and it was a way that I felt like I could connect to people and maybe communicate. I don't know.
You would have had to be very green at that moment. Where was the moment that you felt in your career that you had come into your own as a photographer?
Just like, when did I decide to be a photographer? I feel like there were varying degrees of that, where I could see, okay, I can do this. Okay, I can actually do this. Wow, this is something that other people are like, yeah, okay, Logan can do that, you know? So it was getting the scholarship at SCAD where I felt, okay, they believe in me. I should believe in me. And then it was being at SCAD and making the first piece where I looked at it and I thought, that's what I want to do. That. Nothing, like everything else before that wasn't really it, but I'd made it and I thought, wow, that.
Do you feel like now you're at the point where you can feel like fully confident in your work, or is there more room for you to grow?
Dude. I think that every time I show up on set, I'm nervous. Yeah. Every time I show up on set, you know, it's because I don't know. I don't know how the person I'm photographing is going to be. I don't know if everything is going to come together correctly. You know, you never know. And when you're working with somebody, you know, maybe the dynamic is off and then the images don't work, you know, so I don't think I'll ever be like I
I'm the master.
master of the house, keeper of the camera.
Yeah.